first of all, today there will be no derailment. You hear me? Let's agree to that.
Copy that.
No derailment.
I'm sorry.
If we're gonna talk together, it's a merger of two lanes. It's not a pile up. We don't have any pile up. No, we're on the 405. It's a mess. We're trying to get home. I just want to get home. That's all I want to get home. I want to take a nap. We're gonna watch Netflix.
Okay, I won't interrupt
you just did it. You just did it. It's impossible. It's in your nature to derail. I was gonna see. This is the thing. I'm starting to get into my thing. I'm moving. I'm ramping up into a little bit, and then you just like interject. It's crazy.
Can I speak?
That was kind of inappropriate. Yeah, I paused and then.
Okay, so you want me to wait a beat?
No, I want you mostly to think more about what you're going to say as opposed to just saying things.
Okay.
And if you think it's going to disrupt what I'm saying, think about it because also like I only have so much. I have a finite amount of energy in the day, and I have to really get myself going. And I start talking. I got to talk sometimes for 90 minutes at a chunk, and it's tough. It's a lot of work. I know it's not hard work. I'm not plumbing or I'm not roofing. I know those are actual jobs. I know this is not a real job. I know it's a hobby, but I will say that it's hard to get started sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So I think that sometimes we get caught up and we get lost in just kind of like, the day-to-day cogs and gears of our lives. And we just kind of are doing things by rote, right? You're not thinking clearly all the time, right? I try to be as crystal and as laser focused as possible. Now, it takes a lot of work for me to get there. There's a whole situation I got to put together. There's a water, a lot of water goes into my body, a lot of exercise, saunas, ice baths, psychotherapy, 12-step groups, a whole bunch of other things I don't want to talk about. Green foods, salads, clean meat, and then coffee. And sometimes the coffee is a bit too much. And sometimes I'm looking for something to help smooth all that shit out. You know what I'm saying? It's a little something to maybe take the edge off, accelerate, right? And, I don't need this. See this right here? This is some bullshit copy. We're not going to read this. I don't even know why this is in my hand because you handed me something. You wanted me to do an ad read, and I'm not doing an ad read. Look at this. Metaphorically, we're chucking that, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you in the head. So anyways, listen, what I'm getting to is a supplement called Magic Mind. Okay. It's a little bottle full of green juice. And well, actually, I don't know what's in it, but I know that everything in it is natural. And everything has a fucking there's some sort of tax on. Like someone told me the other day that if your coffee beans aren't organic, you're committing the worst crime against your body ever. And I'm like, when does it end? When do I just get to stop worrying about everything? Because now they're saying, well, think about it. The pesticides are in the coffee beans. You're pressurizing the coffee beans with heat and then amplifying the pesticides. So every time you drink coffee, you're just drinking straight up DEET. You're drinking straight up chemicals. You're just drinking a hot cup of toxic waste, unless it's organic. So I digress. More organic, less chemical, less ingredients, more green. And that's where Magic Mind comes in. Jason, I see you come in, you're drinking a Baja Blast. I see you drinking a coffee on the side of the Baja Blast. You're jacked up, you're ramped up, you're interjecting, you're jumping inside my conversations. You don't know if you're coming or going. And I don't know if I'm coming or going if you stop me from coming. You know what I'm saying? Pause. So I'll let you know this. Magic Mind is where we really get it all together. Little green capsule, little green, what the fuck is it? A little green canister? What is it? A little shot. It's a little shot. A little green shot. Twist the cap off, knock it back. I just get flooded with just a sense of like calm. It might be placebo. I don't know. But I feel a little sharper. And I feel like not only did I have my coffee, because I'm still having my coffee, I got a little Magic Mind on top of it to just take the edge off. You know what I'm saying? Is that making sense? I think perfect sense. You would benefit. You're in here. You're a prolific artist. You're doing all these things. I mean, I don't even want to talk. This guy's brain is he's got multi-chambers firing at the same time, which I can respect and understand and admire because I function in a similar way. We're spinning tops, we're playing the flute and the drums, and also programming beats all at the same time. You know what I mean?
And booking the show.
And what?
And booking the show.
And he's doing all of that, and he's also curating the show. So he's painting the plane, he's flying the plane, and he's fixing the plane, and he's mapping out where the plane's going all at the same time. Now, I don't know. This is a man that could probably benefit from Magic Mind. But what do I know? I'm just
I need some Magic Mind.
a simple, multifaceted weirdo from the west side of LA who just has made something out of nothing, Just took a couple dollars in a dream and built a pyramid of success and artistic nuance, creativity, finance, and spirituality. Ozzie Juarez. We're at the
Tlaloc.
Tlaloc Studios.
Everyone always
Everyone
pronounces
fucks
it
wrong.
wrong.
Tlaloc. Say it again.
Tlaloc.
Tlaloc.
I've heard it in every single way possible.
Tlaloc. Yeah.
Tlaloc, Tlaloc, Tlaloloc, Tlalocos, whatever.
Tlalocos is kind of sick.
Yeah, Tlalocos is the best
I like
one.
that.
Yeah.
So
just say that.
we're here at Tlaloc
Yeah, you got it.
Studios. Tlaloc.
Just the god of rain at the Aztec.
That's all. Just the god
Empire.
of rain.
God of rain.
Yeah, just the god of rain. And this is his home, and this is his studio. I mean, it's a gigantic space and a hangar, and it's divided. I've been here many times at this point. And
The first time you were here, you did a podcast with somebody else.
I did a podcast. Yeah, we did a podcast in one of those rooms, and I was tripping the fuck out because I'm
Yeah, I
like,
remember that day.
yeah,
We had
right?
this whole show.
I remember that too. I was like, I was, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's like just discovering, that's LA for you. There's so many things that people don't know about because we're so spread out and we're so cliquey and we're so separated. And this is one of those things where, like, once I came in here, I was like, holy shit, there is a motherfucking wealth of talent in here of young artists and painters.
That's right.
And when I saw all these people, I was like, this is crazy because in another place, and coming from different socioeconomic, anthropological backgrounds, these people would be in entirely different stratosphere. And talent is talent, and you can't deny talent. It's in here, and there's a lot of it. So
We have 15 different artists working out of here.
15 different artists. It's subdivided into these different rooms. I mean, you can, when you get a chance, Jason, you can pan up and show the ceiling. It looks like an airplane hangar. And then what is the story? Like, how did you get this space?
Yeah, so the story's kind of long, lengthy for sure, and it has to do with gentrification and kind of bringing back the land back, like literally, So this belonged to, before it became Tlaloc, it used to be called Dalton Warehouse, and this belonged to just white people, and they were my friends, nothing against the white people, but they are in a neighborhood that's primarily Mexicanos and black, If you know this area in South Central, it's kind of deep in the cut,
Yeah.
Like you look around, you look at the gang graffiti, you look at the mom and pop stores, you're like, oh, okay, this is the center of it,
We're in South Central. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in fucking South Central for sure. And it's not a safe place either,
Yeah.
You go around, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like this is not
Active.
cool. Yeah, you can't walk around. Like
Yeah.
that,
No. You're not hanging out. This is not where you want to have.
No.
I mean, when you have shows here.
But they respect it. So the community respects it, and like the neighborhood gang, which is the Ghetto Boys. That run
Shout out
this.
to Ghetto Boys.
Hey, shout out to Ghetto Boys.
Shout out to
for
Ghetto
sure.
Boys. Sick. Also,
No, for real. Shout out to Ghetto Boys.
listen, I love because some of these gangs have been around since the 70s. I don't know about Ghetto Boys.
They've
But
probably been around for sure.
like there's a gang called they're called the Magicians or the Magicians, something the Magicians.
That's a good name.
Yeah, the Magicians Crew or something. Like some of these old school names, I love them because Ghetto Boys is probably 90s, I would guess. Because I'm guessing because
Maybe like late 80s.
late 80s,
Yeah,
90s.
yeah.
Ghetto Boys
Seems
is also
like
one of
it.
my favorite seminal rap groups from the South. I don't know if you guys fuck with the Ghetto Boys, but sick.
They're good.
Oh my God. They have, you get like an album that just gets seared into your like neurons at a certain age. Like they have an album, We Can't Be Stopped, which is like a fucking classic. There's a song in there called City Under Siege, which it's one of these songs. I've been playing this song for, I don't know, 30 something years. And I still, every time I hear it, I'm like fully
Gets you
I'm
back
in it. Yeah.
pumped up.
Gets me back. Like, you know what I mean? I'm locked in.
I know the songs for sure.
You know how that goes.
Yeah, yeah.
It never gets old. It's crazy because it's like it got seared into my brain. But anyways, I'm getting distracted.
Well, I'm the kind of guy who like listens to one song for an entire year.
Yeah.
I'll just play one song literally over and over
Yeah,
and over again.
same.
And people are like, how the fuck do you do that? I was like,
Yeah, I do that too. It's crazy.
Must be like a genius thing.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, let's skip the neurodivergency or the autism and just straight to genius. It's genius mode. You get, if you listen, if you play one song for a year straight every fucking day, you're a fucking genius, right?
For real.
Gotta be.
The
Be.
people that I know that do that are pretty smart for sure.
Gotta be a genius marker. Yeah. So
but yeah, shout out Ghetto Boys. Yeah,
shout out Ghetto Boys. So when you have the show,
they're
not tripping. They're not
tripping. We got a couple of people who are affiliated with Ghetto Boys who come here and like, you know, chill out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the neighborhood loves it. The neighborhood loves this spot.
Yeah.
Because we also give a lot of the liquor stores a lot of business, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like the corner store, they love us because we go there every day.
Yeah.
And when we throw these things, like they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it goes off.
Yeah, it goes off.
Yeah.
It goes really off. We get thousands of people come in here. You know?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like
crazy.
They could be like, they could look at it and be like, well, this is a good time to pick everyone off coming out of the show. Or they could look at it and be like, why don't we let them live and they'll keep coming and they're going to bring more shit to the neighborhood that probably needs certain stuff.
And some of the people like the Ghetto Boys come and like bring me stuff. They'll be like, hey, you like this? Like, you want to buy this off me? Like, hey, they'll knock on the door. Hey, I found this. Like, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of my objects like that, like my awning. I found like that.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of different objects they come and sell me for super cheap too. So they respect the spot, you know.
That's sick. And
so I love that.
It's important to be integrated into the neighborhood.
And it's like a community based thing, you know. It's not like we're making hundreds of millions of dollars over here. And on top of it, like I'm from South Central. Like I was born and raised. I mean, I was born in Compton, raised in South Central.
Right.
And so it just feels like it's home, you know. And the majority of the artists who work out of here are from the area, you know, not from Wisconsin or.
But that's what I was going to say is that the other part of that is that the art is endemic of this place. If like the Ghetto Boys can come in here and that's what's cool about this art.
Oh yeah, they'll come in and they'll be like, oh shit, it's fucking
they understand.
GOKU right there.
Yeah. Let
me catch a spot on it.
That's what I'm saying. That's something to be said. Like Ghetto Boys come in and look at that and understand it completely, and they're gonna have it. It's a different context for them because there's no irony. They're like, oh yeah, that's Black Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking Goku. Like, you know, that's
Black Mickey Mouse.
That's Hood Bugs Bunny. Like I've been seeing that fool forever.
That's the fucking homie.
The crisscross Bugs Bunny Taz collab. Like let's go. The backwards page.
Yeah, and that's one thing where, like people come in like it just brings them back to them those moments, you know, in their past. And I feel like that's one thing that I get a kick off too is like reliving these moments in my life where I was like, well, I really enjoyed that moment. I'm gonna relive it, repaint it. And it's important for me to repaint them in a very specific way. You know, it's not just perfect. You know, it's a certain kind of finesse that you got to get going with them.
Well, it has that. It's basically what you're gonna see growing up on the outside of like a mom and pop party supply store or whatever, right? Or just like the homemade wooden sign, you know, or like the birthday party shit, right? And that's the homemade stuff.
And a lot of the imagery is taken directly from those mom and pop stores. Like, like the party supply, like you mentioned, is up there. Like that's a party supply, half of the number of a party supply.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And you know, it's primarily like really strong here in South Central for some reason. Like they love painting Mickey Mouse in the storefront.
Yeah.
You can't explain it. You know. You're just like, they just love it so much.
Yeah. And that's and I think it's like it's interesting. Like if your art can be understood locally and also you can take it to Deitch, and then those patrons can come in and get it too. They probably are getting it in a different way. They're looking at it as just the context of the art, and like they probably don't even understand the direct reference, but they know it's from somewhere. They know there's something happening here, and they know it's from, you know. So you grew up in South Central, born in Compton, grew up in South Central.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay, as a kid, you obviously, I'm guessing, were drawing, right?
Yeah.
There's no right, yeah.
And like I'm like going back to my roots a lot with this stuff too. It's kind of like the first things that I learned how to draw as a young kid was GOKU. You know, and I'm just going back to it. Like, why can't I paint this 12 feet by 8 feet painting of GOKU?
Yeah.
It's like, of course you can.
Yeah.
You know, they look at this and it's like, oh, this is not whatever fine art. We're like, of course it's fine art. Like this is art history.
Right.
You know, it goes in our roots and like it goes so much with what I stand for and what I, you know, grew up in. And so I just kind of get a kick out of repainting these things. You know, it's just so fun looking at these things. I'll paint this and I go back and I'm like, I just start laughing to myself. You know, it's like this is so funny.
Well, it's surreal that like you're like that you're First of all, the shout out to Goku's traps because they're out of control. His the neck and muscles right there the neck muscles are going up to his ears.
He's out of control in general.
He's
just,
brolic. He's
just all around. He's just
all
out
around.
of control.
No, I think it's sick that you can.
He's such an inspirational figure, just not to like people in the hood or anything like, but worldwide. You know,
Yeah.
like, you go to Mexico City, like people die for this guy. You know,
Right, yeah.
they love this dude.
Right.
And I've gotten like saved. My ass has been saved because of this guy. I almost got arrested in Mexico City, and I didn't get arrested because I bought a Goku doll, and the cop who searched my bag was obsessed with Goku.
No fucking way.
And I swear to God,
There's no.
I swear to God, I got caught for some shit. I was already getting searched. I was already handcuffed. They looked through my bag. There was a Goku doll in there. And he's like, no fucking way. He shows me his screensaver. And it's a screensaver of Goku. And I'm like, and he's like, we start chopping it up. What's your favorite episode? Oh, I love this. And he let me go because
That's crazy.
we share the same obsession with Goku.
Damn, Goku had your back that
He
day.
sure does.
That's sick.
He sure does.
I mean, I love that you're painting. You know, I was talking to you earlier about your work, and when I was introduced to your work, it was more in the style of like this thing on the table right here.
yeah,
right?
like more pattern based.
Pattern based.
Kind of but some of the work, like even though it's still pattern based, I still like managed to sneak in like a little bit of pop culture into like if you look at this image here, sure you see this this pattern that I made, but in the background is the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh
You
shit.
can't see it, but it's there.
Oh yeah, I see bits. I see like eyes and.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I still kind of managed to kind of morph these two things that I kind of were really inspired by, and kind of found a way where I could interconnect them, like find similarities in the line making and the mark making between cartoon imagery and pre-Columbian manuscripts, and kind of finding the same movements and lines between them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like basically the same thing. Like those manuscripts that were like cartoons in a way, they were like the original comic books, if you will.
Right.
You know, and it's just totally different now, but finding those connections between those things I find kind of like really fun. Obviously like the colors and the pop and things like that.
It's
kind of being a big
interesting
part
to
of it.
think. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
It's interesting to think that the era that this is from was probably, you know, like this art is probably a reaction to something. I mean, it has to be a reaction. All art has to be a reaction to something environmental, right? You're not in a vacuum. And your art now with the cartoon, like the remaking of the cartoons, which is like a copy of a copy of a copy, but that's what you grew up seeing. That was your texture. Like you didn't grow up in the jungle with organic forms and fucking
I
pyramids
didn't,
and
but
shit.
my dad was always really like taught me my heritage and my roots, and he always had posters and artifacts and things that he would buy and like have them in a vitrine in the house and be
Yeah.
like, yo, this is very special.
Oh,
This is
sick.
part of you. So I always knew that
Oh, that's
my
cool.
my indigenous heritage, you know, and like, you know, growing up in the mirror and like you see yourself and like other people, you know, there's Mexicanos, but there's a lot of Mexicanos who are like white passing.
Mm-hmm.
And in my neighborhood, there was a lot of white passing Mexicanos. And I was like the only one within my friends that actually looked indigenous.
Right.
And like my nickname in high school was Indio.
Right.
You know, because I was like the only one that looked indigenous. You know?
Right. Right.
And it's like, I don't know.
And you were taught to embrace it.
Yeah, I was always taught to embrace it
Right.
by my dad. And my dad's very indigenous looking, but my mother is not indigenous looking. My mother's pale skinned, you know,
Mm-hmm.
French, like
Right.
part French or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely was part of it, grew up with it. So it always kind of stuck to me.
That's
And
crazy. It's so interesting how, I mean, this is not a newsflash, but like your childhood and your environment and everything around you influences you so much. Like every little thing that you see and do and everything your parents do, it's like they're just, you know, because you're a fishbowl and they're just filling it up with stuff.
For sure.
And your dad giving you these, like, you know, giving you these jewels and being like, yo, this is your heritage here. Respect this, boom, boom. It's just seeped into your whole being, and it comes out in your artwork if you're a creative person.
For sure.
You know, or in who you are.
100%.
Right? And it's interesting because we don't. I mean, I think about it all the time and trying to figure out like what makes me tick and why do I do this, why do I do that, but like I don't know. It's just an interesting thing because like you can, I don't know, if you spent the time with your kid, you could really create I mean, people do. Tiger Woods' dad did it, right? He made him into a perfect golfer. You know?
Somebody asked me the other day, it was like, if you have kids, do you want them to be artists? I'm like, fuck no. Like,
Yeah.
fuck no.
Yeah.
Like my brother's a like math whiz, like super genius guy, and
Yeah.
like doesn't have to struggle like I do.
Yeah, same. My brother's a scientist.
Yeah, my brother's
Yeah.
like, he just works, you
Yeah.
know.
My brother's like, he's got tenure. He's just like doing experiments. Like that's, you know, I'm like, that's his whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, there's no ups and downs. It's like, he's just going like this.
Yeah, he makes so much money. He just chills, hangs
Yeah.
out, like
Yeah.
buys cool stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Why can I fucking not have to work 24/7, you know, all the time?
Well, being an artist is terrifying.
It
It's
really
fucking-
is.
No, it is.
Fucking is. People don't get it, you know, what do you have to do, what
Yeah.
it takes to actually, you know.
The hours. Well, also it's
I mean,
like, there's
also
no-
I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Like,
well, you don't have a
I love
choice.
this shit.
You, if
I
you're,
mean, I kind
if,
of do have a choice. I could just like go
But you-
work at the 7-Eleven.
you
know?
could, but you'd always be, I think if you have this kind of output, there's nothing will stop you from drawing or doing stuff.
Oh, fuck. No.
Even if you worked in a fucking factory, you'd be
Yeah,
like using
no,
grease.
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
there's
you're
no
right.
way.
You're right. You're right.
Right?
You're
Like no
right
matter,
about that.
yeah, like no matter what I've done my entire life, I've been drawing the whole time on everything around me all day. Like I
Everything.
can't stop myself. Like
Tell me about it.
You know what I mean? And like even if I'm like on the computer and zooms, I'm just like like it's just I don't know. It's just it's
No,
just
I
part
feel
of
you.
it's in the nature of if you're an artist, you know, it's just kind of, you know. But being like I'm going all in on this is scary. It's like being a musician,
For sure.
being an artist, because there is no guarantee that anything's ever going to work out.
Of course.
And you could grind for 10 years and nothing could happen really of consequence.
And I've seen that, you know, I've seen
Yeah.
that with a lot of my friends who like work so much, and like even now, like it's hard for people to sell paintings. It's hard
Yeah.
for people to maintain themselves,
Yeah.
you know, doing this stuff. And it's why like Latino parents don't support
Yeah. They're like, fuck
their
that.
kids,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like, cool, you're talented and all, but like, where's the money at?
Where's the work? Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah. Where's the hustle? You're like, yo, this is, and they, you know, they think artists are like, you know, they think you're sitting around smoking weed and like fucking around, dabbling around with the brush.
I mean, a lot of artists do that and
That's
get away with it, you know.
yeah.
You know, the lucky few could do that, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not for everyone.
Yeah.
And even when I graduated from UC Berkeley,
Yeah.
from an art degree, and
Yeah.
you know, you're like, why would you do that? You
Yeah.
know, it's like you're at the best school, why would you study art? But honestly, like it did so much for me, and like I learned so much through the education. And I know most artists don't like to pursue an education, but it's honestly really necessary. Like,
Tell
to
me
just kind of-
what you learned. I was actually going to ask you about that, like what your pedigree basically, because I can tell that you have like there's a process and there's a structure to what you do. Like I can see it, and
Mm-hmm.
also in all the different things that you're doing right now. And tell me, like, is that something that you learned in school, or is it something that you learned on your own?
I think it's both
Yeah.
school and on my own.
Yeah.
So I grew up selling at a swap meet.
Yeah.
From a very young age. Like my parents were in that culture. They were completely involved in the swap meet culture.
Yeah.
We sold at 3 different swap meets all over the LA district, you
Yeah.
know, on Alameda and all the way down San Pedro, like just everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel, and I've been working since I was literally 5 years old. You know?
And they're like, yo, you're up at like 6. You got to pack the truck.
I'm up at 4 in the
You're up
morning.
at 4. Yeah.
And like from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
do that every single, since I
Yeah.
was like,
and then were
4
you
years
working the
old.
booth too?
Not only was I working the booth, so I would, my parents would have me work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Work somebody else's booth.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, okay, you're done here. You helped us do this. Now go work. So I've been selling sunglasses since I was 6 years old, all the way till I was like 18.
You
and
have-
like the hustle mentality of just like waking up really early,
dude.
trying to sell something. Like I
Yeah.
used to help my dad like fix things, like go garbage diving and finding stuff, refixing them, reselling them. So I've been, you know,
The
making
work
things,
ethic.
objects. Yeah, the work ethic that
Yeah.
most people don't have. Like
Yeah.
people are lazy, dude.
Hell
people
yeah.
are fucking lazy.
Yes.
And I hate it.
Yes.
I hate lazy people.
People are
It's like,
yeah.
it's the worst.
People
I
are
can't-
lazy.
I can't. Yeah.
People are
really
lazy. People are lazy, and they also feel very. I mean, this is not a news flash, but people are very entitled these days. You know, and like I'll hire an intern, and it's like day one, they're like, yeah, I should shoot something for you guys. I'm like, bro, do you know how like the guys in my office that have like positions like Silky, fucking Ricky, like those dudes,
Those guys are sick.
They're my guys. They've been with me for
Shout out Ricky and Silky.
Shout out Ricky and Silky. They've been there for. I mean Jesse. They've
Shout
been
out
there
Jesse
for
too.
8 years or so. And like there was a year where like they were walking my dog and getting me coffee and like picking shit up for free for a year, like because we didn't have any money to pay you. And now interns come in and they think it's all good. And I was like, yo, don't let the fucking Nike commercial fool you. It's not like that. Like we're here to. Everyone in that company is grinding, and like they're hustling. And if I know you're hustling, I leave you alone. But when I see you over there on Google on your laptop in the corner of the office, I'm taking notes of you, and I know you're not working, and I know you're bullshitting.
Yeah, people
And
don't
that's
know
not-
the meaning of work, man.
No,
They
no.
really don't.
No,
And
but
it's hard to find.
But work. Listen, if you're smart, here's my theory. Here's my life's. This is my fucking thing. Life is you have to work in life. I do. I don't have a fucking safety net. Right? I don't have the.
Fuck no.
I don't have a safety net. There is no fallback plan for me. I don't have a fucking estate I can go fuck off to or a place I don't have it. So that means that I'm going to have to work. And that's a huge chunk of your life is spent working, right? You're talking a normal work week, 5 days a week. And that's a normal. We're not 5 day a week. Like we're not 40-hour work week guys. It's way past that. So the thing is this. Find some shit you really like doing that feels really good because that's what the fuck you're gonna be doing for the majority of your life. And I love working, fucking love it. I'm
addicted
like
to it.
right,
Yeah,
love
completely.
it. I'm like let's
Completely
fucking go.
addicted to it.
There's some things that I don't like. I don't like being on like multiple Zooms all day because it burns me out. But it's part of the game, and I've worked very hard to get myself to a place where I can like have some people do some shit and look at it from afar and point at it and be like, okay, let's fix this stuff. But I've been working I've been working incredibly hard for like 20 years. I've been working very hard. Before then, I was like,
Cheers to that.
right, and it's and also the other part of it is like, for me, nothing has come easy. There's never been a thing where I've like hit a lick and been like, I'm up. Like it's just been a fucking grind, like it's just like
Nonstop.
right. I mean, it's really it's something, but. The idea is that if you work this hard for if you're just nose against the grindstone for a long enough time and you just put your blinders on and keep chipping away, one day
It pays off.
it's
for
going to pay off
sure.
and it's going to look like an overnight success.
And people don't see all the hours that you put in, and they're like, "Oh, this guy got successful overnight," or
Yeah.
"This dude like
Where'd he
got
come from?"
lucky." Exactly. He's
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I've been doing this shit every single day
Yeah.
for 12 to 16-hour days every single day for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Plus that for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude, I've been putting in the work.
Yeah.
That's why we're at where we're at.
Yeah. I mean,
And
what else are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know what else I would do. I don't know.
Jerk off all day, maybe.
Jerk off all day. Play. I mean, that's the thing too. Is and then you're like dating someone and they're like complaining. They're like, you work too much. I'm like, well,
Dude,
Well, wait a
number
minute.
one ever, dude. That's
Right?
the number one thing.
why do you work so much? I'm like, wait a minute. What about the guy you dated that plays Call of Duty and smokes weed all day? Is that what you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you like that guy, or do
Exactly.
you want this guy? There's no in between guy.
Yeah, going into relationships is always like, hey, listen, like I work a lot. Like I'm not just telling you that I work a lot to tell you that I work a lot. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
work.
It's not
No,
a
it's
flex.
cool. It's cool. Like I understand.
Yeah,
When it comes,
yeah,
why are you working so much?
yeah.
It's an addiction for sure. I think so.
I'm completely
It's an addiction.
100% full workaholic.
I recently also went sober.
Yeah. Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I've been sober for 9 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, and it's been
Okay.
crazy. I've been like before that, like I was smoking weed every single day for 16 years. You know, like
Yeah.
wake up, hit the bong, get to the car, hit
Wake
the
and
bong
bake. Wake and bake.
all day. Come to the studio, hit the bong.
Yeah.
I'm about to paint, hit the bong.
But wouldn't
Not
you
high anymore, hit the bong.
wouldn't you burn out in the middle of the day sometime?
No, I think I was just
You just
also,
kept going.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
my energy also is like super
Okay.
high, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, it just worked for me.
Yeah.
But then like I think we were talking about earlier, like your body just hits this wall.
Yeah.
That's just telling you like, dude, I was going too hard. I was like working close to 18-hour days every single day, Monday through Sunday. Wake up, hit the bong, chug a yerbs, do it again. Like had 4 yerba mates a day, you know, like you're working every single second.
Yeah.
And then your body's just like, dude, you got to chill out.
You gotta chill out.
So I had like this crazy kind of realization where I was like, dude, I'm gonna die if I like keep going at this rate.
Especially how strong weed is now. This shit will kill
Oh,
you.
exactly, dude. That
Yeah.
shit's on a different
That
level,
shit will
dude.
fucking murk you.
Designer weed.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck you call it nowadays. No, it's crazy. So the soberness has leveled me out a lot. So
Yeah.
I just drink water now. So it's just only water.
Shout out water, by the way.
I know you're a big water fan.
big water guy.
I know you're a big
Shout
water
out-
guy. Yeah.
I listen.
Shout out water.
I talk about. Listen,
I got a Perrier sponsor now.
you do?
Yeah, look, it's got the little fridge
Oh
right there.
shit!
Shout out Perrier.
Shout out Perrier for sponsoring the boy. Smart
Yeah.
move, Perrier. You're lucky to
Smart
have
move,
them.
Smart move.
Are they sending you cases of the
They send
bubbly?
me fat cases.
Do we have? Is there a cold one in there?
Yeah, you need one?
Kat, can you break me off a Perrier? I would love a sparkly, little bubbly French water right
Please.
now. All
They
up
got
in
the
my
little
gullet.
fancy fridge too. You see that?
Shout out that little fridge. That's a see. Okay, we get these little fridges sent over from sponsors, and it's like there was one in my office recently. It was like one of the energy drinks, and I was like, guys, I don't want this in here. Get this the fuck out of here. It's just like a big ugly thing. That's sick. That looks cool.
kinda sick. It's
I
kinda
want
sick.
that. I want that.
I love that.
It's
It's all green.
yeah,
Like
it's super
glowing all
cool.
crazy.
Yeah,
Looks
it
like
looks-
an alien spaceship. Maybe.
It's very cool. I like the Perrier. The Perrier ones. Oh, cheers. Cheers to Perrier. Shout out Perrier. Good little cross promotion on PTA.
Yeah, for real. A little bit of cross promotion. Yeah, we're working with them. We're going to be doing more things together. They like what we do out here at Tlaloc, and they're like, yeah, let's hook you up with some water.
Cheers to Perrier. Cheers to water. Listen, everybody out there listening. So I give you a heads up. However much water you're drinking, it's not enough. I need you to get those numbers
sure.
up. I need you to get up to like, what are you? You're having a couple glasses a day. I need you to double that to start this week. I need you to have your eyes on a gallon a day.
Your skin starts looking all nice.
Come
you
on, man.
feel all
I'm
refreshed.
look way younger than I am, and I'm pretty sure. And I just started wearing sunscreen a few months ago, so I think it's because of I'm guessing it's my water intake because I put every terrible thing you can in your body. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like my body is not a temple. I mean, my body is a temple, but like one of the Indian ones full of rats. You know what I mean? And I flush them all out with water. Water. Shout out to Perrier.
Water.
Water. Shout out to water, and shout out to Magic Mind. Goes with the water. What were we talking about before?
We're talking about hard work.
Hard work. Hard work.
Hard
people.
work pays off.
Hard
We're
work.
talking about hard
I mean,
work.
the thing is, and I'm going to say this. I have been, and I was at times in my life, a complete piece of shit. So you were working since you were a kid, but I had periods in my life where I could not put it together. And I remember I just made this decision. I was like, I need to become a workaholic. Like I wanted to become one. I was like, I have too many things I want to do. And the only way for me to do all these fucking things is to become a psycho at working. And I've gone through variations where it's like, it hasn't always been good. There's been times when doing my job, I've been in jobs that like, I had a clothing company many, many, many years ago. And we worked in a factory, and I was partnered with the factory. It was in the Compton Gardena area. And I lived in a silkscreen facility. Like there was a little bird's nest office upstairs, and downstairs was all the chemicals and shit. And I fucking lived in that thing. And I swear to God, there were friends of mine people did not see me for a year because I was obsessed. I was just tweaking and like, cause I got hyper focused.
So sick.
And I had to
love
do
that.
it. Right. I had
I
to,
love
and I was
that
like,
so
I was in
much.
there like designing buttons. Like I lost my mind because I wanted to make everything amazing. And I learned a lot. I learned that sometimes you can over design. I learned a lot of lessons there.
Fuck yeah.
I did a lot of shit wrong, but I also realized that I had the capacity to fucking grind. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. Because once I started working for myself, I had a job before then for someone else. And once I left, I started working for myself. And ever since then, I've never had a job. I've only created my own companies or worked freelance or done a conjunction of both because fuck that. You know why I do this? Because I don't ever want, I hate typing resumes, and I just don't want to, I hate it.
My resume says I've been working since 1995. I was born in 1991.
That's his resume. That's it. That's one sentence. That should be your bio.
Nah, for real though.
Artist bio. So you went to Berkeley.
I went to Berkeley, but before I went to Berkeley, I went to Santa Monica. Shout out Santa Monica.
Shout out another
Shout out
SMC boy right here.
SMC.
High school dropout to the SMC pipeline. I ended up at UCLA Film.
There you go.
Then I dropped out.
Dude, SMC is the best school in the
shit.
world.
Yo, shout out to my writing teacher in SMC. His name was John. Can't remember his last name, but I will say, shout out to that fool. I want to say, God, what's his last name? He was sick because he's one of the first people that because I was such a fucking juvenile delinquent shithead, and I started writing in this class, and he took an interest in me and told me, I see what you're doing here, and he fucking pushed me to write, and then I hyper focused on writing, and I wrote a couple novels, but I got scared and I hid them.
Wow.
I'm gonna bust them out. I'm gonna
should bust
I'm
them
gonna
out.
dust
You
them off
should
one
bust
day.
them out. Yeah.
They're 90s LA graffiti crime period piece, like pulpy little like.
Wow.
Yeah, they're kind of they need work. Anyways,
No, the
I digress.
professors at SMC are next level, top notch. Like
Right.
everyone, they're there because they want to teach. You know, they're
Yes.
not there to get a paycheck. Like they're there because they want to be there. Last year, recently, I got asked by the chairman of the art department in Santa Monica to teach at Santa Monica. They asked me to go teach there, but I've just been too busy. I kind of like doing stuff and like having exhibitions,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find the time to devote myself to be a professor because I know I would just go all in, and
Right.
I would like stop painting, and
Yeah.
I would just become a professor.
Yeah,
But
it's not time. This is
it's
not
not the
time
time
for you.
It's
No.
not the time.
No,
But
you're
SMC is always there. You know,
Yeah.
I always go there. But,
Shout out SMC.
But they taught me so much. Like they taught me all the skill stuff.
The
like,
I was in the art program there too at SMC. It's not bad.
It's great.
I learned a lot of
Even
shit
like
there.
now, there's a couple of professors like Mark Trujillo who works there. He's like, that guy's beast, dude.
Yeah.
That guy's like the best. And there was the chairman who passed away. His name's Ron Davis. That guy had his finger on everything, and that guy like was wicked smart and kind of had photographic memory and
Yeah.
like cared about the students. And he actually put me up, dude. He like really got me there, you know.
Took an interest in
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the professors took an interest in me. And the same thing where like the professor was like, yo, if you don't do this, you're cheating yourself out of your talent, you know.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, tell my dad that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go tell my fucking dad that.
Well, that's a scary prospect. Like your folks are like, they can't see this. They're like, what? You want to fucking draw a Porky Pig? You gotta get to work, boy. Like, what the fuck? No. There's work to do.
That's the
We're
funnest,
up at
that's the
3:30.
funnest part. It's so funny. It's so funny. But no, yeah. And then like I would, like you were saying, where you got like super focused. Like I locked myself in my room for a whole year.
Yeah.
And I would do a time in, time out. So I have to work at least 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if I stepped outside the restroom, I'll clock out. If I came
No.
back, I have to clock. And
You're
I
fucking lying.
for a
No.
whole year.
No.
And my dad was like, and this was when I was like 20.
No.
I'm 32 now. And so he was like, told my brother, like, yo, what is your brother on? Like, what drugs is he doing? He's like, no, he's not doing anything.
You had
He actually-
you had the time card machine in your bedroom. You're all up. 10-minute break, smoke break.
No, for real.
That's
I
fucking
did
hard.
for
That's
a whole
crazy.
year.
Damn.
And I like taught myself how to draw with the help of the professors at Santa Monica College.
Yeah.
And, like I just kind of went all in. I took my assignments too seriously, and I just kind of went up. And the professors were like, "Whoa, look at this guy! Like, this
Yeah.
guy's really trying."
Shit.
And so when I went to UC Berkeley, I went to school with a bunch of rich kids
Yeah.
who were like 18, 19, 20-year-olds
Yeah.
who like didn't know the meaning of fucking work.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they wouldn't know work if it bit them in the fucking
Yeah.
ass, you know?
Yeah.
So I took all the awards. I got a 4.0.
Yeah.
I got honors degrees.
They're
Like,
resentful.
It was
They're
just like, no, they were
this-
hyping me up. They were
supportive. They were supportive?
Yeah. But I would just work so much. I mean, like I outworked everyone in that school.
Fuck.
Like I was living at the art department, like literally living at the art department. And I was just learning how to paint, and I was taking art history at the same time too. So I was like learning both sides of the game, you know?
Wow.
And with like the business mentality, when I got out, like I opened up a gallery in 2016 called Sola Art Gallery in South Central.
Yeah.
But that kind of went to shit because I didn't have the right connections.
Yeah.
I wasn't really tapped in like I am now. But I gave like a lot of like the artists who are coming up right now, like their first exhibits. Like I gave Jaime Munoz his first show out of UCLA. I gave like Alfonso Gonzalez Jr. one of his first exhibits. Like I gave Elmer Guevara one of his first exhibits out of college. I gave like Sharif Rog like one of his first exhibits out of college as well. And those were all my friends. Like I grew up with all those people.
Yeah.
So it was just easy to be connected with them and be like, hey, I have a gallery now. Like let's show you.
Amazing.
But now you can't even get none of those works. you know?
Yeah.
But I was showing them when people didn't even. I
Yeah.
didn't sell a single painting at that gallery.
Right.
Like I tried so hard to, level up and like couldn't do it. you
Yeah.
know? Now it's a whole different story. Like now
Yeah.
we're moving works, we're
Yeah.
pushing them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so gentrification happened again and they slit the rug under me. I had to leave the gallery and I was left with nothing. And during that time, I was like, well, I don't think it's like my thing to be an artist. You know, I think I just have to like work for somebody now. So
Right.
I got a job at Disney doing scenic painting for
Oh,
4.5
shit.
years.
No way.
Yeah. So I was grinding.
Oh shit.
I
Okay.
was grinding hard at Disney.
Oh,
And
that's okay. That's now this room is even another layer on this room. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I got to work on the Star Wars land, whatever they have there at Disney. And then I worked on the Avengers, whatever.
Campus.
Campus
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah.
And I led that team, the Avengers campus team. Like I put in so much work while I was working at Disney that the Imagineers were like, who the fuck's this kid?
Yeah.
Fucking coming here, fucking everything up. But like in a good way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like he's like, what? He's super fast, super good. And I was just hyper focused too, because I was really upset about not being able to survive in the art world.
Yeah.
That when I was there, I was just like, you know what? Fuck my life. Like I'm just
Right.
gonna fucking paint really good here and like show myself off.
Yeah.
And the Imagineers saw me and they gave me like a lead position, a charge position, and then I was running a whole operation.
Who the fuck are the Imagineers?
It's like a
So-
little white men this big walking
Yeah.
around in clothes. You know?
matching outfits. They have
Exactly.
special powers. They're like
Yeah, they don't even talk
the
to you.
Imagineers.
I just look at
They
you.
just move you to. They move you up. They're like you're now in charge
No,
of
that
them.
whole world is so funny, dude. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
the Disney
but
world's crazy, right?
It's so crazy.
Disney adults, like the whole,
Yeah.
the whole Disney thing is boggles my mind.
And being there at night when there's nobody there and like it's crazy. And
secret.
the whole like hidden stuff on like paintings, it's all real. Like
Oh,
they tell
right.
me like, hey, can you put a hidden Mickey right here? Can you put a hidden that?
Right.
But also like the people who work there are like construction workers who are basically like America's Most Wanted. You know, you go into in the morning and it's all these like delinquents, fucking felons who are like
Oh,
working.
really?
Yeah, like work like the people who actually
Like
build
carnies.
like the structures and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And like the cement guys,
Yeah.
the metal worker guys, they're
Yeah.
all crazy, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're all fucking drawing dicks on concrete and like doing the craziest shit. Like the porta potties are the craziest things there.
Really?
Yeah, like you go inside of them, it's like the most racist things you ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
Like the funniest drawings on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's like a whole thing in the porta potties.
You hear
know? It's
wild
like-
shit. I've done time. Spent time being on construction crews, and I would
shit.
I would hear shit. I would be like, whoa, what?
No, yeah,
you
the
hear some crazy shit.
craziest things out there.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot at Disney too. Like they taught me a lot of different skills and a lot of the things that I've learned, like these like crazy texture stuff that's like not brittle at all.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I learned that through kind of being there and like creating my own formulas and things like that, and like creating things and construction things and making like whole worlds. Like I kind of like took a lot of those skills from working
That's
at Disney.
really fucking cool.
And I was there for 4.5 years. Like, and when I was working at the Star Wars like land, I worked for 72 days, Monday through Sunday, 14 and 12-hour days. So like no break. It was like and I had to drive all the way to Anaheim, you know? And on top of that, I had a studio space here, but this wasn't my space yet.
Right.
So it still belonged to the different folk.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the studio that was next door over here. And I still like got back here and managed to work 4 more hours. So
Oh my god.
so I work at Disney and then come over here because I really wanted it. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck, I'm not gonna let this fucking go, you know? Like I just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And during that time I was seeing a lot of my friends gain success.
Yeah.
And that kind of just pushed me more. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Looking at my friends like gaining different success, and I was like, well, why isn't that me? Like you're not trying hard enough, or things are not going right for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just had to push myself a little bit more, you know?
That's damn, that's crazy. It's really, I mean, doing 4 years as a scenic is kind of sick as an artist, like because it just gives you this like real blue collar skill set of painting, right? Like really, scale all that.
Yeah, you
shit,
could paint
right?
whatever.
You can paint anything, yeah,
Anything.
basically. I mean,
And before that, I was
as
telling
we're
you,
seeing,
and before that, like I was telling you, after college, I got picked up by this patron who made me, or he didn't make me, he hired me to paint portraits.
okay,
So he was a really wealthy guy, and he was a big fan of Mooses and Franks. You like Mooses and Franks?
yeah, of course,
Place is the best.
it's the
dude.
best.
That place is the best.
The waiters have been there literally for 46 years
Exactly.
each.
So
yeah.
that's where I'm hitting at. So
Yeah.
this guy has been going to that restaurant for those years. The patron, he passed away already, but he was 74
Yeah.
when he was commissioning me these works, and I painted 44 portraits of all the waiters at Moose's and Frank's.
What?
So all those waiters, I got to like chill out before. A lot of them passed away already.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of them, like the main ones that been there for a really long time.
Yeah.
It was crazy because when I was painting their portraits, it was really weird because I would go sit down with them, have a drink with them, like take photographs of them, learn stories from them. Like they have the wildest stories, because they've been there for so long. Even before that, like stories in Mexico and like stories when they were young. And, things like that.
Yeah.
They're all like really amazing individuals.
Yeah.
And so I got to paint them and then show them the painting, but afterwards they would pass away.
Right.
So it was this weird thing where I would like paint them and then they would die. You know? Sounds
They're like, don't let him
movie.
paint you. It's a wrap.
Hold
on.
No, not all of them passed away, but a lot of them did pass away, and including my patron who I painted his portrait. And then
where did all those portraits live?
So I made 4 portraits for each person. So each person got 4 portraits. So
Really?
One of them belonged to the patron. The other one belonged to the person.
Yeah.
And then the other one belonged to the family. And then the other one belonged to Musso.
Holy shit.
So I did that for a whole almost 2 years.
What?
Yeah.
That is
right after
crazy.
right after college.
That is crazy.
It was pretty fun. I was just getting fat checks and painting portraits.
What?
Yeah.
It's like your jobs have been you've taken jobs that have been just furthered your education as an artist. Like you're in being painting. If you had to paint 40, was it 40 people or 40 portraits?
It was 40. It was 44 portraits.
40. Okay, painting 44 portraits over 2 years is there is no replacement for that much.
And all
repetition.
that time, I was still working on my paintings the entire time. I've never stopped working on my paintings
crazy.
the entire time.
That's so cool.
There's some certain thing that I depression that I get when I don't work on my own stuff.
Yeah.
It's I have to, even if I do it for 1 hour or 30 seconds or 30 minutes, I have to do it every day.
Yeah.
If not, I feel like
that's
a
another
shitty
thing
person,
that people also. This is something that people should understand. People are learning, trying to do stuff with their lives or whatever the fuck you're doing, or you're trying to get out and strike out into a new path. Even though this man would work 10 hours a day and clock in and give himself and also demote himself for taking too long of a break. And then fire himself and then rehire himself. Even though that is how he did his thing, I'm going to say something that if you give something a couple hours a week, sometimes if that's all you have to give it, it does push it forward. It does push it. I have multiple projects, and there's a project I've been working on, and I have a partner, and we're working on this writing project, and we would just sometimes it's 2-3 hours a week sometimes, and somehow the shit got done because the time passes no matter what. And don't get in your head, oh, if I don't work 5 hours, it's not worth it. No. Any little bit of work on these things, like you said, 30 minutes, 30 seconds, because what's happening is that when you work on it, right? Let's say it's a painting or some shit, right? You chip away at the painting, and then you put it away, and you go back to your other shit. Well, your brain somewhere in the back is processing, and it's still connected to that thing, and it's figuring out what to do next subconsciously. I believe. I can't prove this in court. This is what I think is happening. So when you come back to it, you're working stuff out, because a lot of painting and for me, painting and all these things is it's really working out what the fuck's happening, right? You got to have a plan. I think you obviously had a plan with GOKU.
Actually, I kind of didn't.
You didn't? Okay. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It was kind of I came in with this base kind of, and I was working on these pattern paintings or whatever you want to call them,
right.
portals.
Right.
And I already had one sketched out for him, for this piece of canvas. I already had it laid down, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what's going to happen. And then I took a trip to Mexico City the beginning of the year. I showed out there for Feria Material, and I went to this place and bought these posters. These GOKU super bootleg posters on this ugly vinyl, really chafa, really cheap posters, and I just put them up just because I was put them on my wall just because I was excited about them. And then I went over and thought about it. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna paint this guy here. And I asked Sick Kid, hey, you think it's a shitty idea if I painted this right here? He's like, fuck no.
No, you know what he's gonna say.
He's like,
fuck no.
He's like, fuck no, that's sick. I was like, you're right, that's gonna be fucking sick. So I just started painting him, and I don't regret it.
Well, yeah. What I meant to say is in painting him, Like you have to have a structure and a plan to paint him. You can't just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're not just going and just start fucking. You have
Oh,
to.
no, yeah. You got
this
to
goes
sketch them
here.
out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like all this compositional stuff. Like I'm sure some of it happened by accident, but a lot of the big parts, you got to think about it. Right. You got to go into it and be like, okay, there's going to be a chunk of type here. Here's a center focus. Here's a foreground. So
some of it comes in like more spontaneous, like that. Like these paintings were just like there's some stuff like that painting where I am like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lay down the Bonito swap meet from MacArthur Park on top,
right,
and then I'm gonna lay down this Looney Tunes background, and then there's a lot of stuff that's still gonna go around these edges, and then I thought about it that way. But with these, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna start over with this Bugs Bunny. All right.
Yeah.
What goes next? All right, I'm gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, and just kind of like switch it over a little bit, and not really think about it as much. And that's what like the looseness and the fun comes in, not being too serious with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I learned too is like not to lose the fun.
Yes.
Then why even do it?
That's another thing is that
like why even paint if you're not even having fun? You're like working for somebody. You're like end up working for somebody else again.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now I'm like, fulfilling the needs of the collector, fulfilling the needs of like somebody else.
Making sure it matches their couch and their fucking rug. Yeah. I like that. You ever see that thing? It's like a list of attributes to being a successful artist. It's kind of like snarky. It's like paint big, do the color.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Yeah,
you seen that? I think that's so cool because it's like, that is part of the game, but also it's like sometimes fuck that. And if you do,
it's true. If you paint flowers all day, you might sell.
Sell some shit. Yeah,
might sell some flowers.
But that's the thing. That's what's great about GOKU is like, you're not doing this because you think people are going to think you're hard for painting Goku. You're painting this because you really want to paint Goku, right? Like that's, right. Like I think
the first painting I ever made when I was 8 years old was a painting of Goku,
right?
Which I'm just like going back to,
to
what I know,
roots.
back to what I know, And other things are fun and all, but
did you
I'll
ever
go back to them too.
Did you ever have a graffiti era? Here's the thing with the Patreon guys. This is the thing. It's $5 a month. So I don't know what
nothing. $5
it's
a month.
$5. Dude. Do you know like what
$5?
Like this guy works all the time. I'm working all the time. $5 to me is like, as a person that is keeping an eye on his finances, I really don't give a shit about $5 a month.
You can't even buy anything with $5.
You can't buy it. There's nothing you can buy, but
except
you can
the Patreon.
Oh, except for pure joy and happiness and secrets of the art world.
Secrets, hidden
secrets of the art. Deep insider, fucking first look at a master. At the sketches, he's letting us broadcast the sketches.
I normally don't let anybody do that.
No, Dick. We're privileged.
Only for you.
Appreciate you, Ozzie. Appreciate you.
Yeah, this is very exclusive.
So join the Patreon. A lot of great things happening, and more wonderful things will start happening on the Patreon when we get more people. Remember, a bunch of ants come together and they lift a breadcrumb and they take it to their place. And one ant can't lift the breadcrumb. So think about that $5. You're all a bunch of ants, and you're creating this breadcrumb, which is going to keep the lights on in Jason's house. Because I don't need it. I don't need the $5, but I got to pay Jason because someone's got to make something out of this whole thing, right? It's been 3 years, guys. Get it the fuck together. $5 What are you talking about? Oh, I got to bring Maddie back? Fuck that. Fuck Maddie too, right? I love Maddie.
Shout out Maddie.
Shout out Maddie. Lovely Maddie, and his lovely family. Love Maddie. Well, I think. Listen, he's got visitors. There's a studio visit happening. Some people from some art fair. You may or may not know about. I'm not going to say what it is. Who knows? Maybe they're not from an art fair. Maybe they're from. Who the fuck knows where they're from? But they're here to visit the man. And I'm guessing they're going to be excited as I am about this. And if they're not, they're fucking retarded. So let's go. Let's figure it out. Join the Patreon. I think we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah,
I think we got there. This has been a pleasure.
Shout out everyone at Tlaloc Studios.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Everybody.
Everyone.
Shout out everyone here.
Paul Flores.
Yep.
Andre Aragon. Sick Kid. Shout out Sick Kid.
Always shout out Sick Kid. We were hoping he'd make a cameo. He's in the background somewhere.
Shout out Devin Reynolds.
Shout out Devin Reynolds, the boy. Shout out the fishing trip.
Oh, yeah.
That's happening. Shout out the tales that will come out of that if we make it back, because I'm actually scared to go into the middle. I'm scared to go in the middle of the ocean because anything can happen. There could be a mutiny. We could all start fighting. Someone could get pitched overboard. There could be a strange disease.
I hope someone starts fighting.
That'd be sick.
That'd be fucking cool. Throw them out the fucking boat.
Yeah, just a Royal Rumble on the boat.
We could put that interview on Patreon too.
Put that on Patreon.
Put that on Patreon.
Yep, everything's gonna be on Patreon, and we're gonna start. I might put the whole thing on Patreon in a minute. You motherfuckers don't start acting right. It shouldn't be free.
Yeah, let's just put this one on Patreon.
Let's put the whole thing on Patreon. Shh, give me a break. $5.